Celebrity attorney Alan Jackson is off Nick Reiner's case. Let's break it down. What happened? Hey, I'm an attorney, not your attorney. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and never, ever, ever will I discuss any actual cases that I have had or currently have. I will just talk about cases that are in the news, in pop culture, out and about, in California, just for my own entertainment and yours, hopefully. Entertainment and educational purposes. So, Alan Jackson, off the case. What happened? Let's break it down. So, private attorneys such as Alan Jackson can't just pop on and off cases. Like, the judge has to agree to let him off the case. He would have had to state a valid reason why to the judge. So, who is Alan Jackson? Alan Jackson, he's on everybody's tongue these days. We all hear about him. I was just reading in the Wall Street Journal an article about how caller ID has gotten a lot better, and so now it's harder to reach like famous people, and the example they gave was Alan Jackson. So I would say, like, if you're out trying to bring in business, maybe you want your phone to ring, but I guess he's come on, just only very well qualified calls only. He doesn't want just everybody. But anywho, so he's a criminal defense attorney. He's been out and about and around on many high profile cases. He was a district attorney as well. Most recently, where most people have heard of him and started hearing about him, was the Karen Reed case in Massachusetts that they made a Netflix about. So anyway, I've seen him in court. He's man about town. He's all about, but yeah, he was on the case. It was like announced very early on that he would be the attorney representing Nick Reiner. And then at a hearing, just kind of abruptly he asked the judge to be relieved. And he stated that he had a conflict of interest. So before he said that, the parties had gone back into chambers, and chambers is just like the judge's office, where they can talk a little more informally, and there's not a court reporter there. And Alan Jackson would certainly have given a little bit more info to the judge, but she's not going to make or expect him to be able to fully disclose if something is confidential. And he can state that he has a conflict, and it can be for any number of reasons. So what are some common reasons why, and what do I think happened? So I have a weird spidey sense about this one. First off, what happened, I'll just fast forward that after he was allowed to be removed from the case and relieved as counsel, there was a public defender there who stepped in, and that can happen quite suddenly. I've been the public defender in the room where private counsel is there being relieved, and the judge is just like looking around like, hey, and there's usually in most courthouses, in every courtroom at some point, there's someone from the public defender's office. That person can accept the appointment, and what happened in this case is they just continued the arraignment off to, I believe, February 13th. So that they will conflict check, they'll do everything to get it in line to have somebody ready and prepared to actually be Nick Reiner's counsel. And the person who appeared that day in court with Nick Reiner, with Alan Jackson, is not necessarily going to be his attorney going forward. It could be, but I'm guessing with a case like this, it seems like there wasn't a ton of advance notice, but also they knew a little bit. So most likely, and I don't know this is just a supposition, most likely Alan Jackson that morning in court found a public defender or called them and said, hey, I'm going to be relieved off this case, and they had somebody who was there to step in. And at that point, the case was continued. Any continuance has to be with Nick Reiner's acknowledgement and acceptance and agreement. So that's what they did. It's called a 1050, Penal Code 1050, which is to continue. So what do I think happened? and what do I think is going to happen next also. So I think that Nick Reiner said something at some point to Alan Jackson, and for whatever reason, Alan Jackson is off the case. And this is just spidey sense. This is just supposition. This isn't anything I know. That's kind of just my hot take. I think something was said, and I know that Alan Jackson is never going to say what that is. He can't. He shouldn't. It's not appropriate. I have heard other people say, like, it's probably just about the money. Perhaps there wasn't going to be a fee, because that is a legit reason why a private attorney can and would get off a case. It is actually a common scenario where someone has private counsel representing them, but it's only through a specific time period. And then if that person doesn't have more money they come up with, then the private counsel is relieved and the public defender would step in and take over. So, because public defender, you can't hire a public defender. I always say best defense money cannot buy. We have to be appointed to represent the indigent. It's like the old, if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you at no cost to you. That's who they call. So anyway, I just, for no reason, just my low-key read, something was said, but I don't know that. And it could be financial. It could be that maybe Alan Jackson assumed there was going to be money forthcoming that maybe Nick Reiner wouldn't have access to. And Nick Reiner's money flow may have been via his parents, who are now deceased. And there could have been some type of an emergency stop or stay, like holding back that money. So that could also be what's going on. But in any case, what is happening next? I believe, and again, I don't know Nick Reiner. I've never seen him. I'm not involved with his case at all. But from what I've just read and consumed just in traditional media, is I think at his next hearing, his public defender is going to declare a doubt as to his trial competency, his competency to stand trial. And this is not plead insanity. It is Penal Code Section 1368, and it is a situation where someone, generally the defense attorney, would declare a doubt as to their client's current trial competency. It's not about, oh my gosh, this crime was so crazy that only an insane person could do it. This is not that. The judge is not going to look at the crime itself. What the judge is going to be asked to evaluate is moment in time, today, standing in court. Is this person beside me able to, one, understand the nature of the proceedings against them? Where am I? Am I in court? That's a judge. That's the prosecutor. These are the charges. This is my attorney. I'm saying not guilty, meaning I'm saying I didn't do it. Because there's people, they don't know where they are. They don't know what's going on. So it's a pretty low bar, but is the person, can they understand the nature of the proceeding against them, and can they assist counsel in their defense? So sometimes there's someone that they're so ranting and raving over the edge that they just literally can't. And I can do a future video talking about this, because I think it's a common misconception people have about being competent for trial, and how that is different and interplay with also not guilty plea based on insanity, which is something different. I'll do a video in the future on that. But for now, I do think, based just on what I've seen and heard out there, publicly available info, I don't have any inside scoop about this, I predict at the next hearing, his attorney or attorneys will declare a doubt. What happens next? Criminal proceedings are halted. It's like everything is in limbo. Very significantly for Nick Reiner, his time rights just halt as of that moment. Everything is suspended, not go away, but is suspended while the judge figures out and decides, is this person trial competent? And the way they do that, generally too, doctors are appointed. They are psychiatrists. There's usually, every court will keep a list, like a panel list, and generally, typically what's done in the court I practice in most often is the judge will ask the defense attorney and will ask the prosecutor to each select one off that list. Those doctors will go to the jail, sit down with the person, meet with the person. If the person is like, crazy, can't talk to them, whatever, they might just do what's called cell side observation, where they're allowed to just come in and they're like there with their notepad, like while the person is being crazy. So anyhow, judge will appoint 2 doctors. They will go, they will examine them. Those doctors might have information about the crime itself. I typically do like to give the doctors like the full picture. I'll send them redacted discovery, which is like whatever police reports I have, the charging documents, just to kind of fill in pieces of the puzzle for that doctor, to just help them figure out what's going on. And they'll write their reports. Usually that comeback date is in like 6 weeks, depending on how long they need. And at that point, the judge has to decide, is this person in this moment, not when the crime is committed, today, is this individual standing in front of me right now able to understand the nature of the proceedings against them, able to assist counsel in their defense? So more to come. We'll see what happens. This case is such a just tragic and really, like, I don't throw around the word tragic. It is tragic. It's tragic. It's sad. It's like, it's grim to say it's interesting, but it is kind of interesting just in the way of like, what the hell happened? And I think that it's not bad to be interested in what the hell happened. We're human. We want to know what the hell happened. So more to come, I'm sure, but that's my prediction for what will happen next time we're in court. All right. I'm a lawyer, not your lawyer. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.